Men are sick and tired of hearing women that claim to be strong and independent. These women might show off whatever, but they still post provocative pics to get male validation. Thus, they're not independent, and let's not forget the amount of makeup they wear every time they hit the club.
Serious question. Why are men terrified of independent women who know what they want? And I'm not asking for the, well, a real man wouldn't be terrified, because that doesn't answer my question. Why are men terrified of an independent woman who knows what she wants? I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a great quality to have. But genuinely, I'm very curious because I don't get it.
Oh, scary! Oh, shiver my timbers! Shut up, man!
Okay, serious question. Why are men so intimidated by women who can do things on their own? Like, what is it about women who have their own things that make men feel like they aren't in control or are in competition with them? Like, shouldn't that be a good thing, that you don't have to take care of them? Like, serious question, let me know what it is. Like, what is it about a strong, independent woman that scares a man?
Oh no, now I'm scared. Ooh.
Question. Why are men intimidated by a strong, independent woman? I just want to know why. Why is it so scary about us? Or...
Oh, boo-hoo.
Narratives and excuses, and if women really knew what they wanted, the world would be a much simpler place. Funny thing is, they still want bad boys while saying all they want are nice guys. Are you kidding? Of course we're terrified. How would you feel if you found someone who you thought was worth your time and effort and have them say, I've found someone better than you, so I'm taking half of everything you've worked for and half of what you'll make in the future if my lawyer is good enough and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And you know that the courts and society will side with them every time? Who wouldn't be scared of this? Being insufferable isn't the same as strong. I work all day and when I come home, I don't want more work. She doesn't want to look bad or feel bad after being pumped and dumped, so she reframes the encounter as, he was intimidated by me, he isn't man enough to handle my sexual experience and boss girl energy. No, he isn't attracted to 304s who act like dudes. It's not intimidation, it's the acknowledgement that women like this bring nothing of value to a man's life. Why would I buy something that has no value or makes my life miserable? We're not intimidated by y'all, we're turned off by your attitudes, and as we get older, we want more peace and quiet. Women live in their bubbles and are addicted to social media because it allows them to get fake validation by other clueless women. It's not intimidation, it's just unattractive. It's not an intimidation issue, it's a masculine/feminine issue. The question they need to be asking is, why are they intimidated by a good-looking guy who carries a pink purse, wears women's panties, and talks in a high-pitched voice? Ladies, it's not rocket science. Real men like femininity, and real women like masculinity. Why that is so hard to understand is beyond me. The raw truth is that average women can get a bunch of guys while average men get no women. Still, some chicks think this is not true. Finding a compatible partner is not a competition or a numbers game. It's about forming genuine connections and building meaningful relationships based on mutual respect, understanding, and shared values. All that sounds good, but women are not looking for that kind of thing these days.
When you're going out with a girl, can't you kind of tell like who she is? You could research her, you could know like who this human is that you're taking out, right? So, but you feel that when you say that, you're kind of like assuming that she's just like going around with like 10 other dudes and f***ing them like on the spot, and you know that she's just meeting up with them like in a Target and not going on a date, and she's just like doing booty call. But like how do you know? Like, how are you assuming that? Like, how are you making that assumption? I just want to know.
Well, I mean, there's a few ways. I mean, first off, it is to some degree an assumption because that seems to be the norm. It's not every woman, it's not every man, but it does seem to be it's more so the case that women are engaging in, or it's more so the case that women have the capability or the ability to be dating multiple men, whereas there's definitely men that are dogs and dating 10 chicks, but the amount of men that are capable of doing that is far fewer than on the opposite side. An average guy, he doesn't have a roster of chicks. An average girl, if she was so inclined, could have a roster of guys. They might not be prepared to give her commitment, but she could be sleeping with multiple attractive guys. So I think as a man, you ought to expect it more. I mean, there's also, if you meet them on a dating app right away, you know they have like an infinite amount of options, not an infinite, but a very high amount of options. You can sort of look at someone and sort of get a sense for how they move. You know, if they go out and party, if they drink, you know, look at their social life. For example, I don't go to bars, I don't go to clubs, I don't drink, so I value that in a partner. But that's not always a guarantee, because some very unassuming women who might be very quiet, might be very shy, introverted, can be putting up bodies. Like they can be, I've known some women who you'd never think, just based off their personality and the way they move, they have a lot of options. So you never can really know. You can look at someone's general behavior and try to suss it out a little bit, but as I've said, I've known some very unassuming, shy, quiet girls who you wouldn't think it, but are dating 4 guys at the same time and sleeping, you know. So
but you're still making the assumption, like you don't know that if that's true, because if you're not asking, you're not doing the research, like you even admitted it. You said you're just making an assumption, like you just think
Sure.
that way based on like maybe one past experience, like you're just assuming
it's more
that
than
all
one past
women are
experience.
doing that.
It's a collective male experience, and it's I mean, you know what's going on. I've heard from women.
Yeah, I know what's going on.
But I do ask.
Understand your
I ask
POV.
too.
Yeah.
For example, I was on a date. This must have been a year or so ago, with a girl, and I didn't outright ask, "Hey, how many men are you currently sleeping with?" But what I did ask is that it was a first date, and she had told me that I met her on a dating app. She told me, "Oh, I just got on Hinge," and I was just asking her about her experience, and she's like, "Well, yeah, I just got on Hinge." Keep in mind, this was like not to be mean to her, but she was unremarkable. She was not particularly interesting. She was pleasant, but she wasn't charismatic. She wasn't a stunner in terms of her physical appearance, like an average girl. She had told me she had just downloaded the app. The date I went on with her was like her 4th day on the app. She'd been on 2 dates prior to me, and then she had 2 dates planned for the weekend. She's an average woman. Like, her male looks equivalent, perhaps you can consider me as that, would not be capable of securing 5 dates in a week. So, I mean, I'll ask questions and they'll reveal themselves. I mean, she may have very well not be sleeping with any of them, but the fact that she's going on 5 dates with, I don't even want, that's not worth my time. I don't want to deal with a girl who's going on all these dates, because if I want to see her again, I want to see her on a Friday. Oh, you already got another date. I'm not interested anymore.
You need to get out of the city.
Booked and busy.
Santa Barbara's not that big.
If an average chick can get 5 dates scheduled, imagine if the woman is hotter. Women do not care about how difficult men's lives are, but still make things up and call men who bring up this fact names like misogynistic, small dick energy, and all that jazz. I'm in my mid-30s and every man I've ever known has been a good dude just looking to start a family. Handsome fellas too. Most of them have been single for years and years because they just can't find any decent women. Meanwhile, their female counterparts have been single for 1 week in their entire life and never go without sex. Quite curious. Young modern women base their thoughts about men based on the small amount of top men they date. He's too nice to them. When he said, "You know what's going on," she smiled. They absolutely know what's going on and what they have done or seen women do their entire lives, yet still argue the bullshit. And getting out of the city doesn't matter. It's worse. You're just sharing the same chicks. It seems the only few things that women can respect nowadays is the ability to walk away and money. Shaking my head. Social media has ruined society, and in real life interactions, everyone is shielding/coping behind OMG that's so awkward bullshit attitude. I'm Latino and I got lucky to end up getting with a Palestinian woman. In the future, I will arrange a marriage for my son. Tinder is not a dating site. It's always been a hookup site. These women can't grasp that. Brian is selling himself short by comparing himself to the average Jane. Most dudes can't procure a bunch of chicks to go on a dating podcast, and most dudes don't have the gift of gab. It doesn't surprise me that modern women that reject reality intentionally would also reject the reality of the average man. Men, this is our reality each day. Women, no, you're wrong. I think your lives are such and such a way. Case closed. Her argument seems to be that she understands that most women her age are screwing multiple guys, but it's not right to assume that anyone is screwing multiple guys. Seems logical. Despite all the women's entitlement, here's what their delusion makes them say. Spoiler, plain insanity.
If he's doing 100% of the bills, I'll do 3 meals. There we go. That's my 10%. But I think this is like the mentality that's going to leave a lot of women single. And half of us probably. Because I mean, there's only so many like guys that can take over 100% of the bills. We're in a modern time. Like, how can we expect them to take over 100% of the bills if we're not virgins anymore? We're not young anymore.
I think that you need to collaborate with the nearby cat shelter and start giving away cats to these future cat ladies. They have no love, no loyalty, no respect, and just want someone to pay for me while giving nothing back. Pay for yourself forever like we do. Stop asking yourself, what do I want from him? And start asking, what do I bring to the table? I'm sure you'll find it'll answer a lot of your questions. She has that mentality of a 30-plus single lady with no kids. She just made men look like an ATM, a cash register, as if it's not about love. Pearl is a gem to society. I paid 100% of the bills and my wife still wasn't happy. They want a world that doesn't exist. If he's doing 100% of the bills and the sole provider, you have to do 3 meals, house chores, taking care of the kids, etc. That's how it works. Guys, thanks for checking out this video. Stay tuned for more daily content. Like, subscribe, and comment. See you in the next video, guys. Till next time.